AI is now one of the hottest narratives in crypto. One of the hottest, probably. And it really seems like almost on a daily basis, we're hit with news about how blockchain is going to come out and revolutionize everything happening in the already revolutionary AI industry. However, most of us still can't grasp exactly how blockchains might actually do this. Well, today, let's take a practical look at one example, one interesting cryptocurrency operating in this area. And we're going to dive in and look at the hottest AI blockchain right now in the space, Bittensor, the TAO token. Let's try to get a real understanding of what Bittensor is, how it works, what its native token is all about, and why Bittensor might revolutionize AI for the greater good. And of course, we have to talk with risks and opportunities too. So stick around for that because there's always risks and opportunities investing in any token. Now, before we dive in, I do need to say that no one has paid us to make this video. The information provided in this video is provided to you for free for educational purposes. Furthermore, this is not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold Bittensor. If you like this kind of information, then please consider sharing this video with your friends. For full portfolio disclosures, see all the coins I currently hold as well as my venture investments. Please see the link in the description or the pinned comment on X. Let's go. So what the heck is a Bittensor anyway? Well, Bittensor is a decentralized computer network that provides a market for artificial intelligence and for machine learning services. Cool. That sounds like a mouthful, but Bittensor is, when you really dive under the hood, pretty simple to understand. Let's start off with an analogy here. I'll try to really break it down simply. Think about ChatGPT, huge artificial intelligence computer run by one company, and anyone can go and access ChatGPT to ask it questions. What's the weather today? Do computers love me? Whatever. Well, Bittensor is pretty similar, but instead of one computer doing all the work, they're decentralizing that out. It's a decentralized network of artificial intelligence computers that compete with each other to answer questions and perform tasks for users. So you can kind of think of Bittensor as almost something of a cross between ChatGPT and the Bitcoin network, which is kind of a cool idea. It's like ChatGPT because it does provide similar services to its users, but it's like Bitcoin because Bittensor's decentralized network of artificial intelligence computers do compete against each other to perform those tasks, just in the same way you might see Bitcoin miners competing with each other in order to process transactions and to solve equations on the Bitcoin network. Now let's dig into the nuts and bolts of Bittensor so we can try to really get a better understanding of just what the heck they are doing. You see, there are three main groups that operate within the Bittensor ecosystem: miners, users, and validators. Miners, those are computers that contribute power to the artificial intelligence and machine learning models and programs, putting their power into a larger network. Anyone or any company can become a miner. But obviously, these miners are running very complex and sophisticated computer systems. So they're usually a lot more sophisticated companies that are actually doing this, different organizations that are doing this, different tech startups that are looking at these kind of ways to earn money. And then there's, of course, the users. And that's really anyone who has questions, problems, or tasks that need to be solved by the network, just like users for ChatGPT. However, Bittensor is a dynamic and growing AI network that is decentralized. So it's more than just a large language model or LLM. Therefore, users can issue submissions to Bittensor that cover large language model requests, but also data analytics, computer programming tasks, and really just about anything else that AI and machine learning is able to do at this point in time. Any task is able to tackle, Bittensor can do now. When users issue submissions to Bittensor, the miners that specialize in the specific area relating to the task then again come in, they compete with each other to try to generate their best answers or to solve the problem. But how does the network then know which answer to send back to the user? Well, that's where the validators come into play. Bittensor validators are a special subset of computers in the network that actually go and review the responses from the miners and then determine which one of those responses is likely the most accurate and reliable of the answers. Pretty cool. Thus, the answer deemed most reliable by the validators gets sent to the user, you or anyone else trying to get the answer. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how Bittensor works. Pretty simple idea. Now let's take a step back and think about the potential benefits of a decentralized AI computer network. You see, centralized AI systems like ChatGPT suffer from three main problems. First, these systems are isolated from other AI systems, which means that they are only as good as the developers and the programmers behind them. Second, centralized systems are locked into a zero-sum, winner-take-all competition with each other. Everybody wants to get the business, right? They don't want to work together. They don't want to share information. They want to be the best. They want to be the top dogs. Decentralized networks are a bit different, right? So these guys, they're just competing to be the best. And then third, this ultimately means that users are left with less adaptive and less sophisticated systems when they're trying to do work or to solve problems because you only have access to what's available in that network. But decentralized AI networks potentially offer a major and revolutionary solution to this problem. With the decentralized AI network, all the separate AI systems connect together. Therefore, there is an inherent collaboration and knowledge sharing within the network. The more information, the better. Everybody grows together. It's not a zero-sum game. This means that the network as a whole becomes stronger than its parts. The network can level up faster than those isolated systems can. And this means users get a better product at the end of the day. Bittensor is thus built on top of a proof of stake blockchain. Bittensor's blockchain is built with substrate technology, by the way, which is a framework that allows for building customizable and purpose-built blockchains. This same technology, by the way, is something that is used for Polkadot and was developed by the guys over at Polkadot. Okay, before we continue and get into the token, let me interrupt the flow real quick to let you know about the best damn newsletter in the cryptocurrency industry. My newsletter, of course, called Wealth Mastery. Every week we bring you the latest, the greatest, the best alpha and money-making insights on airdrops, altcoin news, altcoin charts, altcoin deep dives, NFTs, meme coins, technical analysis, so much more. Join our 110,000 plus weekly readers and sign up for free using that link down below in the description. Thank you very much. Now, let's talk about the TAO token. The center of Bittensor is its native token TAO, which has had crazy price performance. Bittensor operates as a decentralized peer-to-peer market for AI and machine learning services, as you already know. So where's the token come in? Well, when users need these services, guess what they need to pay for them using? TAO tokens. The miner who provides that answer or work that's ultimately delivered to the user receives the user's TAO as compensation for doing the work. The validators also receive a piece of this payment as well for the work, of course, of making sure that the best answers are going out to the end user, aka you. Therefore, TAO acts as a medium of exchange between users, miners, and validators. And because Bittensor is a proof of stake blockchain, the miners and the validators must stake TAO as a requirement to come out and be able to actually have the privilege to even perform these duties, meaning they have skin in the game. This means that both miners and validators have a strong incentive to behave properly and not behave maliciously, because the network can take away or slash some of their staked TAO if they start acting maliciously against the network and providing bad information. These are the main use cases for TAO. The other, of course, is governance, which means that TAO holders are able to propose and vote on different kinds of protocol upgrades that actually affect the entire network. Now, there is a max supply of 21 million TAO. 30% of this 21 million, or 6.4 million tokens, have already been issued out. Out of this 6.4 million, 5.6 million are staked inside of the network, while the other 768,000 are out there in free circulation and wallets on exchanges, all that kind of stuff. The other 14.6 million tokens were released in halving stages until 2045. Now, what about some key partners? Well, one compelling aspect of Bittensor, of course, is some of the really big venture capital firms behind the company. Digital Currency Group, one of the biggest VCs really in the crypto space, GSR, Polychain Capital, and Firstmark. all invested in and support the network. All of these firms are also particularly sophisticated firms. For example, the Digital Currency Group has been investing into the crypto ecosystem since 2015 and currently has about $50 billion in assets under management. Remember, it's never a bad idea in crypto to pay attention to what the big dogs are looking at, not just looking at, actually putting their money into. Okay, so that's all great. What about the risks? What about the big opportunities by investing in this? I think the major risk with Bittensor is that the network's model, both from a technical and an economic perspective, is that, well, it all might just not really work in the long run, for being honest about it. There is a lot of hype around the intersection of blockchain and AI technology. I get that, very excited about it as well. I think it's got great potential. A lot of that stuff we just described here is very exciting, but we're in the very early stages of all this happening. And it's just not super clear if or even how well these two technologies are actually going to work together in the long term. So really the major risk with Bittensor is the same as investing in any other early stage technology or startup. There's a pretty decent chance that it just crashes and burns because it just fails to get long-term adoption. Of course, your investment goes down the toilet with that if that happens. Having said that, the opportunity here, I think, is that Bittensor could completely revolutionize the AI sector. Well, and other crypto AI protocols, but certainly they're leading the forefront right now. What I think is most compelling about Bittensor is that the network is designed to fix one of the major glaring concerns around AI right now, and that's that AI is siloed and quite heavily censored often, and that these AI systems are basically remaining unchecked, and there's bad safety rails and all the rest of this stuff, and they could take us down paths we don't want to go down. Big tech is not our friend. So at that level, Bittensor seems to offer a solution to this problem because multiple AI systems must communicate and compete with each other under a unified but decentralized, thus more honest economic network. So in order to deliver the best product out to the customer, aka you and me, that's what they're going to offer. So if this model does end up working, and that's of course still a big if, we're very early days, then it's possible that Bittensor could be a major AI player, maybe the next NVIDIA, for example, 2 to 10 years down the road, at least from an investment perspective in terms of performance. But we'll see. Thanks for watching.